Hello, Canada. Hello, United States of America. Greetings to every single one of you all over Panama and the planet. My name is Kevin J. Johnston. This is the Kevin J. Johnston Show that runs every single Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We have lots and lots and lots to talk about tonight. Yeah, Trump got shot. The Secret Service really blew it. Shit the bed, as the saying goes, everybody. They don't seem to know what they're doing, and they really need to change what they do. And I think that they already have, considering the embarrassment that they have brought to themselves with this attempted assassination of the greatest American president ever. And as far as I'm concerned, the real president of the United States, which of course we know right now is Kamala Harris, and or the other idiot, the half white, half black idiot married to a man, Barack Obama, that idiot and his husband. Yeah, they kind of run the show right now. We got to get rid of that. We got to get rid of all these left-wing communist thinkers. Where do we begin with this? Where do we begin with left-wingism and left-wing thought processes? Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to waste your time with monologues right now because we got special guest Mike Martins from the Mike Martin Show. Mike in the Night. And here he is, always with a dashing hat. As always, Mike, thanks for being here, man. Pleasure to see you.
Well, thanks for having me on. Well, Kevin, I just want to put this out there. What government agency would you go to nowadays? Any agency that know what the hell they're doing. Never mind the Secret Service, but I mean, any agency you go to, it's completely crumbling. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows who's tricking or treating. It's a complete poop show all around.
Well, what agency would I trust? Not a single solitary one. Like none. Why would I? Why would I put my faith in any government agency right now? I mean, we are seeing every single government agency right across Canada, the United States, and Europe failing miserably, except for a couple of countries like Poland, Hungary, and the Czech Republic, all who said that they're not going to bring Muslims into their country. They're not going to bring in third world trash into their country, and they're going to remain Christian and they're going to remain white. And that's exactly what they're doing. And now there's a whole boatload of people that are going to these countries and filming no violence, no political strife, no nonsense, because everybody's white and everybody's Polish in Poland, everybody's Czech in the Czech Republic, everyone's Hungarian in Hungary. When you keep the riffraff and the trash out, communism can't grow inside your nation, violence can't grow, factions can't grow. And that's precisely what Eastern Europe is trying to prevent. And that is why the NATO powers that be, Mike, don't like Putin, because he also wants to keep Russia Russian.
That's right.
Go ahead.
And that's a major problem. These borders exist between countries since the Middle Ages or the Dark Ages or wherever age you want to go to. These borders exist for a reason, right? And they want to keep their land sovereign. You go to Mexico, the land belongs to the Mexicans. The people that live in Mexico are Mexican. Mexico is made up of Mexico because the people that live there are Mexican. That's why they got borders. That's why they have a border between the United States and then on the other side there is Nicaragua, wherever it is. They have it all set up in a way, Belize or whatever. They have it all set up in a way because, there's a subtle differences between Belize and then Nicaragua and all the other countries in Panama. They have subtle differences between them. So they create borders, even though they all speak Spanish, but they always create these borders because there's subtle differences between each other, subtle disagreements between each other. And they keep a border up just so that there's no conflict between each other, right? Even though they all speak the same language, they still don't get along, right?
Well, they won't get along. Look, Toronto Maple Leaf fans and Montreal Canadiens fans, they can't get along. They're supposedly the same country, but we know differently. Exactly. The idea of great fences make great neighbors. That's the only way to have a great neighbor, is to fence everything up. And Lori, thanks for being here. Appreciate that. So we got to we're going to talk about all that tonight, and there's going to be some controversial. I refuse to say controversial. I'm going to tell some truths today that won't make me very popular with select people. And because I'm in Panama, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police will not be kicking down my door when I say them. So we're going to cover, Mike, what's happened here. First off, you made a prediction about Trump, and then you got a phone call from an American agency. Let's cover that for a second, if we could, please.
Well, according to them, is like 46 different instances. I said that something's going to happen to Donald Trump in August of 2024, going back to March of 2020. I've been making this prediction. So I've made it multiple times. I've made this prediction on your show. And another prediction that I made on your show multiple times, and I've made multiple videos going back to 2018, was that there's not going to be a 2024 election in the United States. And that's something that goes back to 2018, like 52 different times in 52 different videos over the years, predicting a no 2024 election. And that goes back to the last president theory. And another theory that I've had, that the Democrats' wet dream is to have a Biden president-elect select Biden as a wartime president, and that's their wet dream. The Democratic wet dream is to have Biden as a wartime president, and that's what they're pushing for. Now, it's going back to years now, where basically we go to hot war, or they're going to have to pull the trigger on a pandemic. That's a prediction we've made multiple times, going back to 2017. The hot war thing. Yeah, we got the Ukraine, we got all that other stuff, but that's all money laundering. I have a bad. Right. Kevin, can I break this down? Is that okay?
Let's break it down. That's why we're here. We're here to break down geopolitics, because, Mike, there's a reason. Everything's happened here for a reason. And there's a lot more to the story than just Donald Trump being shot. So please break it down. We've got 2 hours. Well, we got an hour 45. So you're up.
Okay. This is where we're going to be going. Okay, Kevin. So everything I've said has happened, except I try to get off the hook with the whole Trump prediction thing, because I said it was going to happen in August. And they're like, well, you're 2 weeks out. They were actually talking to me in a way where I'm actually putting feeler messages out there for groups of people.
Right.
Which I don't even know. And I'm just saying, hey, I'm just saying what I've been saying all these years, because we're forced into these corners, right? Just like in 2018, I said they're going to pull the trigger on a pandemic. We're economically destroyed. Governments won't take accountability for the financial framework they've constructed around us. And lo and behold, they pulled the trigger on a pandemic in 2020. And then they went ahead forward with other things that, all those little hot wars that were little small wars, little money laundering wars that were going on. And now here's the thing. Now, if you want to share the screen real quick, I want to just show this.
Of course.
I know this is off topic from Donald Trump, but this is very important, because this is where we're going. South China Sea, Chinese Philippine leaders to have direct hotline to stop clashes at sea. And China and the Philippines have created such emergency telephone hotlines at lower levels in the past to better manage disputes. Here's the problem with this. I'm getting into intel from my wife and people on the ground in the Philippines. On the news there, they're seeing a lot of China going to war with America on Philippines territory. They're going to use the Philippines as a staging ground, and they're going to go to war with China and the U.S., and they're going to duke it off in the Philippines. And that's the rhetoric. That's what they're feeling there, and that's the tensions they're feeling right now in Manila. And I'm just telling you, this is where it could be headed towards, because I don't think China doesn't want to destroy any of its infrastructure. I don't think United States doesn't want to hold this. So maybe doing something in the Philippines and using Filipino territory as a staging or a ground for this war is maybe in the works, Kevin. And I think this is where it's going right now.
My speaker went out there. Can you hear me?
I got you.
Yeah. You got me. All right. So for some reason, all right, never mind. All right. Well, look, every single time that nations go to war, they don't want the war on their soil. So this whole thing of China, it doesn't matter who they're going to go to war with. They're going to want to do it in the Philippines or Vietnam or somewhere where none of their infrastructure gets destroyed, but their infrastructure is already crumbling anyway. So China this year is far less of a threat than they were last year. Why? Is because they have all the tofu construction projects going on right now, where they're hiring some of the cheapest and worst contractors going that mix cardboard in with all the concrete. Buildings are literally falling apart. Bridges are falling down. The soldiers that they have, the Chinese army typically is between 3 and 5 million that they report. We don't know what the actual numbers are there. And as a result of all this infrastructure falling apart, there's no money left. So soldiers are not even getting paid in China currently. Chinese people have turned on each other in a very big way. They're actually behaving now like Muslims do in America, running people over. They're running each other over. They are stabbing each other's children because they're so upset with how their lives are going. China can't muster up a battle, not one that they're going to win on their own soil. So yes, it makes sense that they would be doing this in the Philippines. And it makes sense that they would want Trump dead because China needs Biden to be in office if they're going
a wartime president. We got a comment here confirming what I'm saying over on your TikTok. Says true. My Filipino friends say the same.
Well, that's I believe it. I absolutely believe it. The staging ground is always going to be Southeast Asia. It's not going to be in China. And look, you guys know that I've been to Bangladesh, Myanmar, and Thailand. I can tell you what the sentiment is there about China. People don't like China. They don't trust China. They know that China is either going to buy them or blow them up. That's what everyone in Asia thinks in reality. So for Biden to be in office while China pulls whatever stunts they're going to pull to try to repair themselves economically by taking over land, Lord knows how that's going to make them money. Like their administration just sucks. The country's falling apart and so on. But they still need Biden to be in office to do whatever they want. That's what this whole thing was all about. Kill Trump, and you have Biden in office. If Biden's in office, China can do whatever the hell they want, which the world doesn't want.
Right. And a Biden wartime president, again, is the Democratic wet dream. That's the thing. I've been saying that for almost 5 years now. It's the Democratic wet dream is to have Biden in office, wartime president. And I just don't see an election in 2024. I have a feeling there's going to be huge changes in August. And I've said this on your channel before. I've been saying it on your channel 2 years ago, that there's going to be massive shift that's going to happen that we've been talking again for years now. And I'm just worried about the innocent people in the middle that are going to be caught in this, that don't deserve to be part of this crap. And that's why I've never taken sides on any of these wars, because it's all money laundering. It's all weapons testing. It's all BS. And it's all their population control agenda. Now, let me go a little bit deeper with this, okay?
Yep.
I believe that they're going to actually go in a way like this, where they're actually going to allow X amount of casualties on each side, X amount of casualties, X amount of infrastructure destruction. They're going to have it all penned out, and they're going to have it all written out nicely so everyone understands what boundaries we can't cross, what weapons we can't use, which militias we can use, which this, which that, what could we do to civilians. I have a feeling they're going to have this whole war drawn out already with particulars on how much casualties from infrastructure, from whatever they're going to allow to lose, and then they're going to call it quits. I just got this bad feeling, Kevin, that this is going to be like a staged war, but they're going to organize it in a way where it's already pre-planned and budgets and all that stuff.
Alrighty. Well, let's assume for a second that you're correct about it being a staged war. It doesn't change the fact that there's going to be a vast amount of infrastructure destroyed.
Right.
But you also, look, you got to keep this in mind too, that under the Biden administration and under Trudeau and under Macron in France and under that retard in England and so on, infrastructure in the Western world is completely crumbling anyway. So whatever China is going to be pulling off, you got to understand that they've already been doing it by funding Trudeau and funding Biden and having them activate these ridiculous Antifa cells and Black Lives Matter cells and communist group cells and whatnot. Like that whole thing about Chaz, when the Antifa losers turned a small section of downtown Seattle into their own country. And it took, 2 weeks for the cops to go in there and clean everything out, is because that was the Chinese effort to destabilize one American city at a time. They have succeeded greatly. Chicago destabilized. New York destabilized. Seattle, junk. Portland is over. Los Angeles and San Francisco, done. San Diego, and Sacramento, yes. Divine inspiration. Vancouver, Canada, finished. And Mike, you were talking about Vancouver Island, places like Victoria, and there's a town north of Victoria where there's more homeless there than anywhere else in the country because they've been bussed there. They've been ferried and bussed there. So China's efforts to destroy infrastructure using useful idiots like Antifa has worked incredibly well. Thanks for the hat, guys. I appreciate that. That's worked incredibly well. Now all China needs to do is add just enough to it to get infrastructure damaged in every single country that could possibly compete with them, because their own infrastructure is garbage. Like just 2 weeks ago, that new subway system that they were building in Zhaipan province collapsed. It just fell apart. Inexplicably. Done.
Well, I've been preaching the European expansion on your channel for ages. Once the European expansion dissolves in the West, there's no one left to maintain the infrastructure. We saw it in Angola. We saw it in Mozambique. We saw it in all kinds of countries. Once the European expansion leaves, it's game over. And fat-faced Doug Ford in Ontario 6-8 months ago was basically saying, we're going to bring in 100,000 Portuguese and they're going to maintain the infrastructure and they're going to keep us going for many years. Guess how many Portuguese came? 0. After the massive deportation of Portuguese in 2007 and 8, none of them want to come back to Canada anymore after that. So that European expansion dying off is going to be the death of the West. I don't care what people say. It's without the people that built, engineered, and maintained this infrastructure are gone. Forget it. Game over.
You and I have covered this many times. I've said this many times, and of course, I get a whack of static for it, and I couldn't care less. I'm too old to care. White countries are falling apart that have unfettered immigration. The cultures can't mix. Multiculturalism is a bad idea. It's failed everywhere it's been implemented. Canada is a lost state as a result. Ireland and England and Scotland and France, lost states because of unfettered immigration. You cannot mix Islam and Christianity. You cannot mix Judaism and Islam. You cannot mix these things. When I was in the war zones out in Myanmar there, I can tell you that Muslims cannot interact with Buddhists and Hindus and Jainists. They just kill. They just kill everybody. You cannot mix these cultures, and we have to stop this nonsense. We have to tell the truth now, and the truth is white countries are the best countries, which is why everybody wants to go to white countries. And what white people have got to stop doing is being kind and friendly and just say, hey, no more welfare. You work 8 hours or you don't eat. In the War of 1812, everybody, the Canadian barracks had 3-year-olds. 3-year-olds would sweep the barracks and clean the toilets and all that stuff. And if the 3-year-olds didn't sweep the barracks, they didn't eat. Imagine that, being 3. Here's your broom, sonny. Now sweep the floor. And instead of learning from that, realizing that built character, that built self-discipline. Instead, what we do is say, hey, you're from Africa, you're from the Middle East, you're not white, you don't speak English, you like to rape women and children? Come on over. We're going to give you free dental and free healthcare and free cash and free everything. And then we're going to lock guys like this one up who criticize it. That's what we're going to do. So white people, you've become retards. You've allowed your countries to be stolen from you. And the worst part of it is you bought into the propaganda. Like, isn't it great? It's wonderful. Isn't it wonderful? It's fantastic that, like, my neighbor, there's a white girl, black guy, and over there it's a white girl, brown guy. It's great. That's what people think. Why do you think this way? It's not great. You know why it's not great? Because you've watered down your own culture. That's why. I liked Canadian culture the way it was in the 1980s. It was wonderful. There is no Canadian culture anymore. Trudeau made sure of that, but the rest of you also didn't do anything when he was trying to destroy that culture. So, Mike, now getting back to the whole Trump issue here, knowing that China has a plan. China's got a plan to continue to piss everybody off in Asia. China's also got a plan to kind of go to war with India over that glacier that borders the two countries.
Yes, that's the Sindhu-India conflict that was going on in the 60s and 70s. And then it resparked back in 2014 and then back in 2018 again. And then China moving its border into Indian territory, 20 miles or 18 miles. It's been a back and forth thing. We covered that on early episodes of Mike in the Night in 2016, 2017. We did get somebody in from India to explain what was going on with that problem that they were facing. But yeah, I mean, China is in a lot of hot water when it comes to a lot of the I guess what they're declaring, right? What they're saying. And unfortunately, the innocent people on the ground don't really have a say in any of the matter. Just like us in Canada, we don't have a say in any of the matter. The governments decide to spend $210,000 on meals on their flight to go visit India for a week and things like that. We don't have a say in the matter. We don't have a say in the matter of who was allowed to come in the country that we built, or my parents and grandparents built. We can't say that. We can't, so none of us really have a say in the matter anymore, Kevin. We're in a position where we think we could vote these people out, but it's all a selection in the end. And whoever the WEF or whatever WHO or wherever these losers are, they're going to dictate on who's running who and what. And that's the problem we're facing. I need you to share my screen because I want to piss you off, Kevin.
Oh, do you?
Someone sent me this from Ireland. Great replacement comes to Ireland. 280 migrants planned for a small town of 165. And I just wanted to share that with you. Ireland's reeling from migrant crisis, and government's answer may be to move more and more newcomers to the countryside, whether locals like it or not. So 280 migrants planned, coming into a town of 165.
Well, here's what I hope. There's something that the Irish used to do. They would get a roll of coins and put them in their fists and hold them like that and just knock you right out. That was one of the things my father used to tell me about. Whenever he would get even with someone, he'd put coins in his hand in a roll and just bring the fist right down on top of your nose, and you'd be out cold. The Irish are going to have no choice. Really, when your government does this to you, you don't have a choice. But what else can you do? You can say, "Oh, hey, welcome into my house." I've got a 6-year-old girl. Why don't, hey, like both of you, hey, Muhammad and Muhammad, you guys can marry my daughter here. She's 6. Is that what they're expecting the Irish to do? Or are they expecting the Irish to absolutely explode and go to war with these people, which at this particular point, because it's all being forced on them, it's an invasion. You have the right to defend yourself, your home, your property, your children, your wife, your dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, white people, you're going to have to do something about this. Your government's going to keep shoving this crap on you. What are you going to do about it? You're going to cry and whine and complain on Twitter, or are you guys actually going to put some coins in your fists? Choice is yours. Okay, so Trump.
Let's get into the build-up first. Let's open up my screen here, if that's okay with you. All right, build-up. So we got a lot of wannabe, I guess. I want to give a special message out there to entertainers. If you're an entertainer and you are making movies and music, stick to making movies and music. Nobody gives a rat's ass about your political views on anything because nobody cares. Okay? But here goes. By slugging in his face, Robert De Niro. By decapitation, Kathy Griffin and Marilyn Manson. By stabbing Shakespeare in the Park. By clubbing Mickey Rourke. By shooting Snoop Dogg. By poisoning Anthony B. By bounty killing George Lopez. By Carry On eating his corpse. A Carry On? I don't know what that is. Pearl Jam. By suffocating.
Carry On are the corpses of dead animals.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't. Suffocating Larry Wilmore, blowing him up, Madonna and Moby, and by throwing him off a cliff, Rosie O'Donnell, and just by generic killing Johnny Depp and Big Sean. And there it is right there, folks. I wanted to throw that up because this is the buildup that's been happening for the last 7 years, right? And that's the problem we're facing.
We got some slides here just to go ahead with that. So you got Johnny Depp during an appearance at UK's 2017 Glastonbury Music and Arts Festival. The actor tore into the president. I think Trump needs help is what he said, and then made an ill-considered joke. When was the last time an actor assassinated a president? Don't even know what the hell that means.
He's talking about John Wilkes Booth.
I see. Oh, is that what he was talking about?
Yeah, he's talking about John Wilkes Booth that assassinated Abraham Lincoln, but John Wilkes Booth was paid by the crown to assassinate Abraham Lincoln because Abraham Lincoln went off the crown and created the Yankee greenback. And a lot of people think, yeah, he was killed because he went against the crown and created his own currency for America to be free of the crown.
That's right. And that's where that whole thing about sic semper tyrannis came in. Thus always the tyrants. When John Wilkes Booth shot the president in the head, jumped off the second-story balcony, broke his leg doing it, yelled out, "Sic semper tyrannis," and then he tried to take off, but he was found very quickly. And with that, he was trying to make it seem like it was always going to be the Confederacy that would continue to do all these things. But they didn't think this through. They actually, Wilkes Booth and all of his ilk, no matter who it was they were working for, they actually made the mistake of thinking that the Confederates would support this. But there was like almost 4.5, 5 years of war, plus skirmishes, plus guerrilla tactics, plus partisanship. People were tired. 4 or 5 years of war is enough. They didn't care anymore. Everyone was glad that the war was over, and that the next big problem that the Confederates had were carpetbaggers, which was people from the north coming down to the south where the better weather was. And for a couple of years, carpetbaggers, they ended up getting killed by Confederates. I mean, the United States was a mess for like a decade where the whole thing was over. And the Crown liked it that way.
Yep, that's what the Crown wanted, the big divide.
Right.
They wanted the big divide, and it took 7 years for the North to free their slaves, right? So a lot of people don't know that.
So I just want, Mike, you make a very good point, and that's what we're trying to talk about here, is the fact that the British Crown wanted America divided, and for a little while it worked, and then it didn't work, and then the Americans were the ones that came to the rescue of the Brits at a later time. China's doing the same thing right now to America and Canada. That's what's going on. It's like a full-blown attack on the entire Western world through Canada and through the United States. It's unfortunate, Mike, that we're talking a real history lesson here, and the numbers on TikTok just went to 1/3 of what they were. Like, people don't want to hear real history lessons here. So, like, what do you want me to do? Show the president getting shot? Come on. We've seen that. We did that on Saturday. Right? So, but we're talking about these historical markers here because it's important to understand that history is right now repeating itself. It's repeating itself. It's just that right now, the British Crown is not the enemy of the United States. It's China.
Well, America's still paying the Crown right now. That's the thing. That's why we have the Fed, that's why the Federal Reserve exists, to pay interest on the money that they're borrowing. Right? So they're still paying the Crown, or the Red Shield, or whatever they want to call it. America's still paying taxes to the Crown to this day. So,
and that's something that could be fixed with a president with balls. That's also
John Fitzgerald Kennedy, Catholic president, tried to solve that problem back in 1961 when he tried to go on to a silver and gold standard and try to remove the federal foreign entity. The Federal Reserve is a foreign entity, and it's not part of the United States and foreign banks. Andrew Jackson spent his entire administration destroying that. And then after his death, not too long after, they reinstated the Federal Reserve Act and basically destroyed America.
All right. And that's true. Like, you guys, you should look at the history of Andrew Jackson. He proudly proclaimed when his presidency was over, I brought down the big banks. He did say that.
That's right.
He said that. All right, Mike, any more build up here before we move into the unpopular opinions that I'm going to espouse tonight? Go ahead.
All right. If you want to share the screen here, this is just out right now. Exclusive GOP Representative Cloud Homeland Security Agency is interfering in House assassination investigation. Of course. And there's a lot that's going on, just like the Kennedy assassination, that none of it's adding up properly. And the line of sight was wide open. We actually did a small prediction video on line of sight and a couple of other little things, but there it is right there. They're obviously going to interfere. And once they find this, got fingerprints of the CIA, WHO, NWO, everything in the world. You got fingerprints leading to all that. And basically, they obviously want to derail this. And expert view, this one thing about Trump shooting is very suspicious. And then I think it goes into more than 1,100 meters per second. According to the ballistic calculator, the bullet took 0.14% of a second to reach Trump ear. There was no way the shooter could have calculated the movement of his intended victim. So Trump was only millimeters away from being fatally wounded. So what they're trying to say is they're trying to throw out there that he purposely got himself shot to build his credibility, which is obviously not true. And I kind of wanted to bring this up.
That is not a chance I would ever take. The idea of putting an apple on my head and having a bowsman fire an arrow at it, or putting a can on my shoulder and having a marksman shoot it. You know what? No thanks. Not putting my level of trust in someone like that, period. It's a ridiculous idea to consider stating that said bullet would be deliberately shot only at his ear to frighten people, but it killed somebody in the crowd.
Yes. And the company building where Trump shooter sniped from was sold 4 months ago. Very interesting.
Well, it is interesting, but we have to talk about the fact that the Secret Service, they really screwed up. I'm going to just share a different screen here for a second there, Mike. I'm going to bring this in. All right. This is a YouTube channel. This guy's pretty interesting. He does 1 minute video shorts on YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and play this right now. Can you see it?
Yeah.
There it is.
What happened? It is very difficult to sue law enforcement for failure to protect, because you would have to prove that law enforcement had a duty to protect you and failed in that duty to protect you from the credible threat. The failure has to be egregious enough to be able to file that cause of action. And we primarily see it in the Uvalde shooting. Now, it's important to remember that this is still a developing news story. However, as we apply the law to the facts of this case, we already know from eyewitness testimony that several people had actually spotted this shooter before they actually fired their weapon. Not only that, but law enforcement was actually on their radio discussing this individual as a suspicious individual before the shooting, meaning that it is possible that Secret Service knew or should have known that there was a credible threat on the roof, which would actually rise to a cause of action that the former president could have against the Secret Service. It means that, yes, technically the Secret Service could be held liable for this epic failure.
Lawyers.
Okay, so that's this guy's pretty entertaining. He does a lot of these things, all based on American law. So he'll show a quick story and then he'll give you a legal opinion. Obviously, it's to sell his legal services. Good for him. But there you go, is that the Secret Service could actually be held liable for this. Now, why did they fail, Mike? Well, Dan Bongino came forward and he was stating that it wasn't actually all Secret Service agents that were there. It was temporary Homeland Security staff. I don't know if that's true yet or not. I haven't confirmed that one. I did go doing some research that was not yet confirmed as of the beginning of this show. But it is kind of a sound theory. They look like a bunch of idiots, if you want the truth. It didn't look like they knew what they were doing. It took them far too long to surround him. And then, of course, they had two fat women on the team who are considerably shorter than the president. Yeah, Mike, what's up?
They're putting their hands up because they're too short.
Yeah, well, they didn't put anything up. Actually, yeah, here. There's a photograph I'd like to show everybody. There we go. There's Trump. He's got tall men around him. Why is that short, fat chick behind there with her face all kind of folding in on itself? Why is she not in the scrum protecting the president? Any idea? Any idea? Well, we're going to cover this right now, everybody. For all the women watching now, I'm about to criticize women. So you may want to leave the room now if you think that that is going to bother you. And all you left-wing retards out there, especially the males who say that they're feminists, this is definitely going to upset you. So you know what? Stay, get upset, cry. Don't forget, if you're in Canada, all you left-wing retards, we have this thing called MAIDS, Medical Assistance in Dying. So if I say something that upsets you, just go to the nearest hospital and tell them that, and they'll give you a needle and, well, you know the rest. So, women, enough. Enough of this I am woman, hear me roar crap. Enough of women can do whatever men can do. Enough of this, we don't need no man. Enough of a woman is as strong as a man, as fast as a man, blah, 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 as a man, blah, 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 as a man, as a man. And furthermore, women can blah, 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 better than a man. And Mike, did you hear this one? Oh. Better than a man. Right? It's ridiculous. You're not. You cannot do this job. Women cannot do this job. All right, ladies, I don't hate women. We've covered this topic 1,000 times. I love women, but we all have to be just a little bit more honest. out there. And I would like a lot more honesty from our entire society if I could be so bold as to request that. Women and men have evolved over the course of the last 250,000 years. We have evolved in two distinctly different pathways. We're still the same species, but we are very different creatures. Women, if you amazing ladies out there did not have emotional responses to stimulus, you would not have cared about your offspring as much as you do when they are young. And if you didn't care about your offspring, we would not be here as a species. Women have been given this innate power for emoting and being excessively emotional, which is good for keeping babies and toddlers alive. Very good. Love you for it. But because of that, you can't do the job that requires a man who can think fast on his feet and don't panic in panic situations. I know a lot of guys who don't panic in panic situations. How often have you seen something along the lines, everybody, of a woman whose child is choking and they're like screaming, and some guy just walks right over, picks the kid up, Heimlich maneuver, pop, 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 kid spits up, guy makes sure he's okay, hands the kids back to the woman, and the woman's on her knees crying. Okay, that's what you do. That's what you do. And on top of that, because you are the weaker of the two sexes, physically and emotionally, what were you looking for? For the last 250,000 years, you were looking for a man to kill animals for you, bring them back, protect you from other men out there that wanted to spread their seed within you, provide a cave that was protected, to do all that stuff, to provide for you. Women, their brains are wired for selfishness. Find the strongest, tallest, fittest, fastest guy who can kill the most animals. All right? And Blue Daisy here says, Kevin, I'm an under 5 foot tall woman. I have no business protecting a 6 foot tall man. And I'm only 5'6". And I could take a chick your size, 5 feet tall, pick you up, and I can throw you. You're correct. It doesn't mean you're bad people, ladies. It just means you can't do the job. Women should not be cops. Women should not be judges. Women should not be CEOs of major corporations where there's more than 90% men working for that company. Women want the benefit of a man's world, but they don't want to do all of what men will do. A man will work 18 hours a day, no problem. If he knows there's a paycheck for it, he will. Women won't do that kind of thing. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, I think I'm being challenged by some lady here about knives. Maybe she's better at knives with me, but whatever it might be. So, ladies, this diversity, equity, integrity, hiring nonsense, it's got to stop. You're going to get someone killed. You truly are. I won't get on a plane if the pilot's a woman. I'm telling you that now. I will not get into a race car or a big truck if a woman is driving either one of those two things. I'm not doing it. If it's a black woman, you can be rest assured I'm going nowhere near it. Period. They just don't have the mentality for it. No, I know, bless, we're having some fun here. It's all good. Kelly, cognitively speaking, there's no difference between men and women. If a man can be a genius, a woman can be a genius. There's nothing saying that cognitive ability isn't the same. That is true. That is true. But there's a reason why men can power lift usually about 200, 300 pounds more than their female counterparts who are in the same class as them. There's a reason why women can't beat men in the boxing ring. And there's a reason why that guy Farron Fox, who is a man dressing up as a woman fighting in the women's UFC, wins every fight because he's a man. He's got a dick. He's a man. He's got bone density that was granted to the male status from day number one. Mike, these diversity hires for women to become bodyguards for the president of the United States has now sealed the fate of women and this diversity, equity, inclusive hiring. I think now at this particular point, we have some really intelligent ladies here in the TikTok room, probably in the Rumble room as well, stating that they agree with me that women can't do that job. And one more thing, ladies. There's a bunch of female police officers in Canada right now watching this show. There's one named Catherine Dodds. She's a morbidly obese cop in Peel Region, which is my hometown of Mississauga, who's watching every show and transcribing it. She's a 5'2" fat pig who stalked me for a very long time because she doesn't like my politics. All right, so imagine that, Mike. I get stalked by this 5'2" fat slob who's got a badge on. But you know what? She didn't do any of the arresting. She sent 7 men over to come and get me because she didn't like what I said online. That's the thing with you female cops. What happens when you say, "Hey man, listen to me. I'm a short fat woman in a costume," and then what do? You get on the radio. I'm yelling at a guy and he won't do what I'm saying, and like 7 or 8 more guys show up. You can't do the job. Let me tell you something else, ladies. Men do not want to be told what to do by women. We just don't. I have a personal belief here. I'm now in Latin America where I can live according to this. And if you're going to be barking commands at me, you need to be someone who's paying me for the job to be barking at me, or you should be able to kill me with your bare hands. Now, the big problem in Canada and the United States is that we have women barking at men all the time. But, you know, what if I was a weaker man, like mentally a weaker man, just started beating the living shit out of you? What are you going to do? What would you do in reality? And the answer is nothing. You'd lose the fight. So I'm going to now restate all my words to every single female cop, including the RCMP losers in Canada. Ladies, you women cops out there, all I am is a big mouth, middle-aged guy with gray hair, blind, deaf, broken bones everywhere. Some of my bones don't even work properly. Once in a while, my right hand will freeze up and I can't even open it. It stays locked in place, sometimes for 2 days at a time. So with all the injuries I've had, you female cops out there, I've made a deal with a very wealthy man here in Panama. Come down to Panama, get in the boxing ring with me. If you beat me, I've got a guy who will pay you $250,000 US. And do you remember what I said to you before? Ladies, if I lose the fight to any female cop from Canada, if I lose the fight, I will shoot myself in the head live on the internet because I do not deserve to live at that point. This is a serious offer. I'm kidding. I say, Ed, please. I'm not kidding. When I say these things, I'm not joking. There's not a single female cop in Canada that could beat me in a fight, and I want to prove that at some point. But of course, you know what? You female cops in Canada, big mouth, no guns, nothing. You got no pipes. You've got fatness, and you've got left-wingism, and you've got screaming and yelling. But you've also got that radio where you can call in for more guys. It's always men that come to your rescue. So if any female cop in Canada wants to do this, it's $250K if you win the fight, and I'm dead. I won't go back on that. I will put the gun in my mouth and I'll shoot myself right in the fucking head, and I'll do it live. That's
all right,
my.
Calm down, Kevin. Relax.
No,
One flaw.
What?
One flaw.
One flaw in what?
There's going to be some guy that identifies as a woman that's going to beat the shit out of you.
Well, we're going to be inspecting the crotch. All right.
So they have to be born female, is what you're saying.
They got to be born female. They got to be a cop in Canada, and they have to currently be female. If they want to beef up on injections, testosterone, so they start going bald and getting a voice like mine, then by all means, I'm still going to have a good time with it. But I'm just telling you, ladies, you can't do the job. So every female cop in Canada and the United States, do society a favor. Step down. You just saw the Secret Service make a fool of themselves with 2 fat women who don't know what they're doing. Step down. Go home. Make some babies. You know, like, what do you want to do this job for anyway? Being a cop is a stupid job to do. Sometimes you'll do 2 weeks where you have a 12-hour day shift. Then you do 2 weeks, a 12-hour night shift. And you'll do this for years. You know what that does to your psyche, man? It screws you up. You're constantly around other cops. Most of them are losers and angry individuals. And you physically go to essentially a jail every single day. And then you get inside of a car that is essentially a mobile jail every single day. Like, you idiots actually put yourselves in jail every day. That's why you're idiots by the time you've done the job for 3 years, because your brains get all messed up doing that. You don't think that driving a police car with a steel cage and steel on the side here and these bulletproof windows and everything around you while you're wearing body armor and this big stupid costume with 12 things on your belt, you don't think that that gets to you? It does get to you. I'm telling you it does. Hey, this is something they don't tell you in cop school, is that, hey, after 3 years of going to being around other cops and being around criminals and physically going to a jail every day, your psyche is going to begin to break down. They don't tell you this stuff. They also don't tell prison guards that, hey, guys, you're going to be physically putting on body armor and going to prison willingly for 12 hours a day and then leaving prison and coming back the next day. People pay lawyers 50 grand for bail hearings to get out of prison, and you guys willingly go to prison. That fucks you up. It's a stupid decision to make. And on top of it, ladies, you don't have the physical strength to do the job, and you don't have the emotional maturity to keep yourself from going insane doing that job. So just go home, have some kids, find a good-looking guy, treat him well, keep his balls empty and his stomach full, and you'll have a great life if that guy has exactly what he needs from you. Go back to being a traditional woman. Get out of the police force. We don't need you. You know what women cops do? They panic and they power trip and they shoot people for no reason whatsoever. We don't want you in office, or sorry, in that costume, my mistake. And furthermore, we don't need you in politics either. With almost 40% of politicians in Canada being female, not a single one of them has an intelligence quotient over 90. Look what happened to our country. Ladies, please become women again. Never mind this feminist garbage that you're all trying to keep up with. It ain't working. Not for you, not for men, and not for society. Ed, what's your point? Go ahead.
Well, I heard you call me.
I didn't call you. You were coughing in the microphone. I said, Ed, knock it off.
Earlier, when you're saying you're looking for people that don't panic in stressful situations, here I am.
Yeah, no, Ed, you're a hell of a pilot. I don't think for a second that if any plane that you were flying was to have any particular type of issue that you'd have any problems whatsoever. I mean, the first time I flew in a plane with Ed here is Ed landed in the Ottawa River. And if anyone's ever seen that thing, it's kind of like the ocean, except it's a river. Yeah, we had 5-foot waves cresting over top of the propeller on the plane. Ed just, well, you know, actually your facial expressions never change anyway. So like no one can read you, but you know, you come in and poof, splashes the plane down, throws some switch, the propeller goes into high gear, and he cuts through these 5-foot waves with a plane floating now on the water, parks it, and we get out. I thought, yeah, that was cool. Right? So he's doing it calm, and I'm the calm passenger thoroughly enjoying myself. Now, if we had a woman in the back seat, what would she have done? 5-foot waves. And we know that. And not all of you. All right. It's a generalized statement, but it doesn't mean all of you. There are some ladies out there who love the thrills as much as I do. I know that there are some ladies out there who would willingly throw themselves out of an airplane with me, who would probably willingly do an orbital skydive with me. There's a lot of ladies out there who do cool stuff. But I am talking on the average. And then I go, Donna is one. And Donna, I believe you. Yeah. And Ada, you too, we know. Ada, you'd have to be a calm one to be watching this show as long as you have. So thank you for that. Alrighty.
I was referring to Tiananmen Square during the protests, during the lockdowns, when I was yelling for requesting a police officer, and there was about 100, there's 2 busloads of riot cops there, and probably another couple dozen Toronto cops, and they wouldn't let us protest set up on Tiananmen Square, formerly called Dundas Square back before COVID, in case someone's wondering where that is, Yonge and Dundas. And people are freaking out, people are scurrying, and I'm just being real cool and thinking, what are they going to do, arrest me? Who cares? Meanwhile, they steal all the PA equipment, and I'm yelling at all these cops, is there a police officer here? I need a real police officer, not some actor wearing a badge. Man, 150 cops look at you. They're mad. Not one of them came, though, eh? It's just so 150 odd wannabe or fake cops in uniform. Not one of you is a real policeman, one willing to step forward. And then the sergeant who knows me says, Ed, you better keep moving or I'm going to give you a ticket for being outside and being against the COVID restriction. It says, hey, I exercise a little bit slower than most. Anyways, can I find a real police officer? I need to report a crime. He said, what's a crime? I said, theft. My PA equipment, my speakers, my microphone, my generators, cabling, everything got stolen from that sidewalk there. And it's hanging right over there behind those other guys, behind that barricade they're not policemen because they shouldn't be stealing equipment that's not theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And, what's with the people in cop uniforms? Why do they have numbers on their backs?
Yeah.
Anyways, you guys got broken. Kelly got
no.
arrested.
Yeah. Okay. Let's not talk about Toronto because we're talking about Trump at this point. Hey, Mitch. Okay. So some of what I'm saying about women, she definitely agrees. A few examples. No, she's not offended. Because I know who this is. It's a very cool gal. All right. And Hesham says basically women shouldn't be in positions of authority to sum it all up. Look, every single time I've had a female boss, I've always had issues because I don't give a rat's ass about anyone's feelings, period, when I've got a job to do. If I'm being paid to do a job, the job gets done. If you have a problem with anything, I don't care. Shut up. Let me do my job. And that is something that women that I work with would always take offense to. And of course, there would be complaints. And like I told this story before, and then we're going to move back on to Trump. So I had no more anecdotal bullshit. All right. When I worked for Hewlett Packard in the United States, I took over the entire Eastern Seaboard territory. And I had complaints, but it wasn't about my staff. It was my staff complaining about the part-time assignments I was giving them. So they would have to be in computer stores helping to sell Hewlett Packard product. And I went through all the complaints. One guy made a complaint because there wasn't enough ink in a printer. And the other complaints, which was hundreds of them, came from all the female employees, to which there was only 4 or 5. There wasn't many, right? So out of 200 staff, there's like 2% of the staff were women, and about 100% of the complaints were for them. So I fired all the chicks, and I became the number 2 district manager in North America inside of 6 months. I didn't have to put up with the emotional garbage. Yeah, and it really was things like, oh, I don't like the manager of that store. He's creepy. Like, what? Women say this. What does that mean? He's creepy. I've been told I'm creepy. I've been told, remember, I was told by a judge that my facial expressions were terrifying. And that when I was speaking like this and being really emotive in my show, that he was worried about the way that my facial expressions would be interpreted. So we're talking about a big fat pig judge. What was his name? Armstrong, was it? No, I can't remember his name. The loser. He, a man, a supposed man, not a man, a male who wears a black dress for a living, was upset and afraid of my facial expressions. So I suspect just weak people in general look at things and say, oh, that's creepy. Now, okay, never mind. We don't care.
Back to Trump. Does anyone have a photo, an overview, or an aerial view of the site?
There were a few given to me. I can get.
I may have one in this tonight's lineup here. If you guys,
I want to really ask a question of the two of you, and this one might floor you both. Can you bring it up,
Mike? Okay, I'll let Mike go ahead and I'll have him look that up here. In the meantime, this is what Mike is sharing on his screen. Mike?
Newsweek declares Trump a shoo-in for president after Butler, Pennsylvania shooting incident. Again, there, sure, no worries, but I just don't think there's going to be a 2024 election. That's just me. I'm not speaking for the other two gentlemen here, but I'm speaking for myself, and that's something I've been proclaiming since 2018. So I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, oh well. But I just don't think there's going to be a 2024 election. That's just me.
Well, we know that they're going to try to stop the 2024 election, and Trudeau is going to try to stop the 2025 Canadian election. And why would they not try to stop those elections? They both know. The Democrats know that if Trump wins, they're going bye-bye. that party may not even exist anymore because they've all committed high treason. The judges and the jury that were against Trump in New York committed election interference. Technically, it's treason what they did. So, yeah, the Democrats can't win this election now. Trump is too popular, and Joe Biden has defecated in his pants publicly far too many times to be taken seriously by anyone. So they know that they have to get rid of this guy or shut down the election, which would be what? Start some kind of proxy war or real war as close to home as possible. All right, there we go.
Any luck pulling up that map? Anyone?
Mike is still working on that. All right.
I'm just trying to see. Just going through all the different ones I have here. Sorry, guys. I just have so many screens open here. I'm trying to.
Yeah. In the meantime, I wanted to bring this up right now. It seems that the Secret Service, they took their embarrassment quite seriously, because here's Uncle Trump. Touch him now. There you go. Now he's protected. This is the right way to protect the president. Men as tall as him. Men. There we go. All right. There he goes, man. So obviously the embarrassment was a bit much for the for this agency, and they've gotten rid of short, fat women now, and they have tall, fit males. And you notice something there. There's no obese men. They're all tall and they're all fit. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. And yes, guys, for those of you who want to see what I'm showing, I'm on Rumble. Just type in freedomreport.ca. By the way, up here on TikTok, we're at 3,700 views. Can we get everyone going like that, double tapping with your fingers, please? Let's get the likes going. And could everybody watching on TikTok and Rumble please share some more? Let's get this thing shared out, because for some reason, Twitter, I got what, 9 or 10 Twitter accounts now. We're not able to go live on Twitter for some reason tonight. I got no idea why. We've been fine for the last 6 months, and all of a sudden now we're not live on Twitter. Go figure. Mike, how we doing?
I got it here. Give me a sec. I just have to. It's just really hard to. They want me to buy stuff to see this. They want me to buy things, and they want me to sign up for stuff. I just want to see this image here. Unfortunately, I don't know where.
Kevin, remind people it's Freedom Report without a space.ca.
I would hope that everybody knows that a domain name has no spaces. freedomreport.ca is where you'll find all of it.
Okay, I got it here.
Do you?
Put it up.
It's up.
Here we go.
Okay, see where the shooter is? That building was used by the cops and the Secret Service's staging area. Why did they not have someone put up there? That was a perfect place to look out. You had a clear view. There should have been a minimum of one Secret Service or one cop or somebody up there. And it's their own office, and nobody's up there. Are you kidding me?
Hold on.
They even left the ladder.
Eduardo, hold on. It goes back to this. The company building where Trump shooter sniped from was sold 4 months ago.
So what? But they were renting it. There was cops inside that building. That was the staging area for the police. Why was there no cop up there? Was some cop paid off to not go there? Or this is a huge question no one's been asking. I want to know why. And it's only 137 meters. That's real close. Why was there no cops up on that building? Why? That's like 101.
Well, why is that it's been theorized this is a CIA operation to take out Trump. The CIA operates completely independent from the entire U.S. government. They really do what they want. You know, whenever the CIA decides they want someone dead, someone's dead.
Hold it,
you know, so
Kevin. I've got to correct you on that, okay? First of all, our viewers have to understand the United States and the government is nothing more than a puppet for the Israeli government. If AIPAC had to declare themselves, which they should legally, as a foreign entity that influences elections or as lobbyists, this would have all fallen apart a long time ago. But AIPAC is not currently fall under any of the lobbying rules. So they're the ones that are paying off the judges. They're the ones that are bribing cops, CIA. The CIA and the FBI doesn't answer to anybody except Israeli parasites. Just because they work for the get their paycheck from the American government doesn't mean they answer to the American government. So get it through your head that the American establishment in Washington is nothing more than a puppet of Israel. That's what it is today. And this started back when JFK got shot in 1963.
Okay. Well.
All right, throw this one up. This next article ties into what Eduardo's saying here. This is a little interesting, a tidbit information here that I got. So, report: a sniper in building used by Trump shooter saw him with a rangefinder looking at roof and returning with backpack. So they already this was already in it was already in motion. So someone was told to stand down somewhere somehow. Period. That's it. No debate. That's it.
Well, look, we got to factor in. Can we get a photo of the shooter, please? Yeah, throw it up there. This is some loser, 19, 20-year-old loser. Someone who decided that he didn't want to improve himself. I mean, I think there's a rite of passage, really, that most young males go through. And typically it's the one last ass kicking that you get as a teenage boy. That's it. Like you trigger, something goes in your head saying, that's it, no more. I'm going to work out. I'm going to get fit. I'm going to get strong. I'm going to learn how to fight. Most males do go through that at some point. Well, we've got a whole society of weak males, unfortunately, and they are being continuously browbeaten by feminists and women, like young ladies, for just the amount of shit that young males go through is unreal. So we have a lot of weak males who don't go through these rites of passage. They're angry as hell. They can't find work. They can't get a girlfriend. And a lot of them will decide, okay, I'll never get a chick. I'll never get laid. So I'm going to go and make a name for myself somewhere. And the CIA knows who these losers are. They just know. So this guy was probably promised a boatload of cash and immunity and a whole bunch of stuff. And they blew his head off. They put a bullet right through the top of his head, right into his spinal column. He's toast. Now he can't talk.
Boston Marathon guys surrendered, put their hands up, and they were blown away too. Same thing with the Boston Marathon guys. That whatever happened there, they surrendered, hands up. We surrender. We don't. Boom, gone.
Yeah. So the rules of engagement are: if they can talk, if they can tell tales, blow them away. And that is what's going on here. All right.
Now, Kevin, for sure, this guy was an Antifa member or not?
We're not entirely sure. No, we have to correct what we had released on Saturday. The information that we had on Saturday was incorrect about who the shooter was. The FBI jumped the gun and released the wrong information. So we do apologize for that. We will be putting the correct information up in just a second here. Oh, yeah. Here we go. There we go. So this is someone who could have turned his life around had he chosen to, but he went the easy way out, and that was to hide from all of society. Thomas Matthew Crooks. And for those of you on TikTok who would like to see it, just type in freedomreport.ca and you'll be able to catch that. So for all the young men out there, if you honestly think that history is going to give a crap about you if you do something like this, you're sorely mistaken. Right? Even though people in American culture know that Mark David Chapman shot John Lennon, nobody cares. He never made money doing it. He went to prison for the rest of his life. So he threw his entire life away for fame and notoriety, which people maybe cared about for a couple of months. But you know the way that the average person is. When the next news cycle comes up, no one cares anymore. I'm not seeing an awful lot of Palestine stuff on Twitter anymore. Why? Because everyone's tired of it. Like everything runs its course. You're never going to get famous, and nobody's ever going to care about you. If you're some kind of mass murderer, no one gives a shit. They really just don't care. So instead of sacrificing yourself for some cause that nobody cares about, why not improve yourself and put some muscle on in the gym, learn how to speak publicly. Yeah, a guy like me has no problem meeting women because I can speak publicly because I've got confidence and I talk. I talk to anyone and I speak well. If you don't think you want to be a public speaker, fine, play an instrument. Chicks dig a guy who can play guitar. Older women over 40 like a guy who can play piano. They just do something that puts you above the average and you'll have chicks flocking to you. They don't teach you that stuff in school, by the way. Trust me when I say this, you can have a really hot car for less than $8,000 anywhere in North America. Buy something out of the 90s and clean it up. There you go. Hot car, a little bit of muscle mass. You can play an instrument. You can be 5'4" and get chicks if you got all that. But they don't teach us this. They just don't. And that's the sad part. Sorry, guys. Are you not hearing me on TikTok? Can everyone hear me okay on TikTok? Just want to make sure. So I'm encouraging the young men out there not to go down the road of being a would-be failed sniper where you get your brains blown out before you know what it feels like to embrace a lady, if you know what I mean. So, gentlemen, the Secret Service made a blunder. There's a chick who stands almost, a foot and a half shorter than the president. What is she protecting exactly? Because you see, that's his heart and his lungs and his head are all completely open there. What exactly is this chick doing? And the truth is, it's nothing. And the other thing, let's talk about a couple of other quick things here. If you remember when Trump first took office, Kathy Griffin did this. She had a friend of hers make this Trump head. Doesn't really look like Trump, but she holds it with that retarded look on her face. Look, she looks like a retard. And I don't get the joke. Does anybody get the joke here with Kathy Griffin holding a Trump head? Did anyone understand that?
It's just supposed to be something symbolic, artistic, some other BS like that. I don't know. No one understands these people, Kevin. I don't understand these people. I don't want to understand these people. I don't even want to waste my time trying to understand what these people are thinking because it means, like you said, nothing.
Yeah, but these people spread this garbage.
Yeah, you're right, Eduardo. Just like what Robert De Niro and all the other guys said too. Just that list we went on at the beginning of the show. We went off that list of all the. So
there you go. George Lopez having a picture of, I guess, himself. Again, with a beheaded Trump, and he's standing on a mound of skulls. And yeah, America's got freedom of speech, but the issue here is that
that's Trump. That looks like Angela Merkel.
Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does look like Angela Merkel. It could be Angela Merkel.
All right. Then we have Madonna. She took a crack at it all as well. Madonna told a crowd of thousands at the Women's March in Washington, January 2017, that she had thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House. The singer's profanity-riddled jab at the Republican administration provoked anger of many conservatives, and her record sales dropped, and she had to go and get a ton of plastic surgery just to be able to be palatable again to her audience, and it still hasn't taken off. Now, there are some women out there in their 60s who are pretty damn hot, I can tell you that, but Madonna's not one of them. She has
Dolly Parton.
Yeah, and Dolly Parton has class. She doesn't necessarily like Trump, but she doesn't make any major deal out of the whole thing. I think Dolly Parton knows that she's a singer with big tits. She knows that. And she's continuing to play that up, and she's continuing to be America's sweetheart, America's gal. That's her shtick. So all you celebrities out there, what exactly is it that you think you know? More so than, let's say, a scholar does of politics, or someone who talks politics and knows politics for a living. What is it about, let's say, Johnny Depp, who did a great job in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies? Like, what with him going, oh yes, you have heard of me. Huh? How does that make you a professional in politics? And why is everyone listening to this guy?
Kevin, take 2 steps back. Yes, if you're an entertainer, you create music, you're acting, just stick to that. But it goes back a few more years. Let's go to the whole global warming thing. Back in global warming, not climate change, global warming. Back 10, 15 years ago, my barber, when I had hair, my barber, my mechanic, my neighbor that went to school for 3 years, the guy walking the dog, everybody was a climate expert for some reason, Kevin. Everybody the crosswalking guy, the guy at the school picking up his kids, they're all climate experts all of a sudden. And that's what's happened, Kevin. All these people have taken on these roles that they know everything. And because they just do, because they watch the news and they know it all now. And that's the problem. And it's been going on for decades now, that everyone's an environmental expert. Everybody is a political expert. Everybody is an expert on everything because they watch CNN.
Yeah, if you watch CNN, you're an expert on nothing except showing the world that you're an idiot. That's really what it boils down to. And there's far too many people in the world who still go to the news on television for their news. And it's not news. It's propaganda, and it's what you would call newsertainment is what it boils down to. It's entertainment, and it's bad for you. Here's Rosie O'Donnell. In July 2017, O'Donnell tweeted out a link to a game called Push Trump Off a Cliff Again. This made many conservatives want to push her off a cliff. Okay, well, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what the follow-up opinion is, but it was just simply a matter of freedom of speech in the United States allows them to do this stuff. And that's fine. That's their right. That's their country. Let them do it. But they're all angry at the fact that Trump says there are 2 sexes. Global warming is a scam. The oceans, if they ever did rise, would rise 2 millimeters, the whole ocean. It's a scam. Why are we putting money into that kind of thing? Because he's a businessman who went bankrupt twice and rebuilt himself 3 times. He is a guy who adores the insults. He is immune to everything that they're saying. That bothers them. So they can't come up with something clever. They go straight to death threats or wishings of death. Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg's music video for Lavender, released in March of 2017, paints POTUS as a clown and orchestrates his death. At the video's end, the gin and juice rapper points a gun at the Harlequin Trump figure and shoots, but instead of a bullet, a red flag that reads "bang" fires out of the gun. Now, Snoop Dogg's biggest problem is he's high all the time. He's got more money than brains. And for him to pull a stunt like that, if he was in any other country in the world, he would have been incarcerated already. Now, again, I'm all for freedom of speech.
Well, here's the problem.
Yeah,
okay, we got a problem here, but it's one-sided freedom of speech. You criticize Biden, you criticize anybody else, you are on the hook, and police will come knock on your door. Now, I'm going to intervene here real quick, because there is a person who is a semi-regular on Mike in the Night that now is in a lot of trouble in Canada. And he is there's some sort of a panel that judged against him. Now he's got lawyers, and I don't know if he said something on my show or put something on his social media, but he's in a lot of trouble now for criticizing Joe Biden in the United States as a Canadian living in Canada. I'm not making this up, Kevin. So that's why when if you're going to go on them rants there, let me do it after I've done my segment, because I could be on the hook for something. And Buddy is now going to keep me in the loop on what's happening. I'm not making this up, Kevin. I wish I was. But he's in a lot of trouble right now. And something may happen. And all he did was criticize Joe Biden. That's it. In Canada.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
I've been criticizing Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton.
Me too.
Black Obama and
2012.
And Obama's husband. I've been criticizing all of them since the beginning. I mean, I do have quite a bit of recollection of not joking, making it seem like it was a joke about the fact that Michael Obama is a man. I've been saying that for quite some time. So, the Americans have not flagged me on that. I don't know how this guy got flagged. So
it's the Canadian, it's the it's like the RCMP. It's on the Canadian side of it. I'm not. So I'll talk to you offline about this, and I'll let you know what's going down. So
all right,
it's pretty. I don't know. It's pretty intense what's going on, and I think Canadians are gonna wake up to a knock on the door, or kick in the door, and yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, everybody. Bill C-63 that aims to put Canadians in prison for life for having political opinions like mine. There will be knocks at your door, and it's going to be done very quickly. If it passes the Senate, which it might do in September of this year, they're going to start arresting people right off the hop. And of course, the RCMP are a bunch of cowardly losers. They can't wait to kick someone's door in, guns drawn, completely surprising you, and you have no chance to fight back. Yet, Mike, I remember when I was a kid, there was 3 RCMP cops went trespassing on some guy's farm in Alberta. I don't remember who it was or why they were there, but this guy was a crack shot, and he shot all 3 of them before he himself was finally shot by another officer. All right, why are you trespassing on the guy's land? The cops went there fully armed with submachine guns, ready to kill this guy, and he killed them first. And what happened is the RCMP went crying to the media. Poor us. We were just doing our job. And I remember there being a lot of family discussions about this. Why were 3 of them fully armed to the teeth on this guy's property? Obviously, they had threatened him in some way because this guy was ready for them. So they announced something to him. They were ready for him and so on. But the point I want to make here is all police in Canada, they go out of their way to be as violent as they possibly can. They tread on everyone's rights every opportunity they get. And when someone fights back, they go straight to the media and cry like bitches. I don't get it. Why are they such cowards and wimps? Mike, talk to me. Why? What's going on there?
Well, thankfully, a lot of the well, not all, but a few of the RCMP I know in my small town are more family-oriented people of the community people. A lot of them that I know personally on a first-name basis and that know me, I have a small business in the little downtown core I'm in. We all know each other on a first-name basis. We talk a bit here and there. They know my kids. I know their kids. It's different. I guess because I live in a 2-stoplight town, everybody kind of knows each other type of thing. And I don't get that, what you're saying, here in my little town. But yeah, in big cities for sure, especially very transient cities where people are moving in and out all the time. No one knows each other. And yeah, but here luckily I haven't really had any problems with so to say with the police or the RCMP. It's RCMP here. I don't have a police outlet or a task force here. It's just the RCMP, but it's been fine. I don't really, yeah, here it's different, I guess. So,
well, in Alberta, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police should have been kicked out a long time ago. The way that they behave, like the amount of shouting and screaming and yelling that they do. I told you guys, like my niece at the time was like not even 9 years old. And they wanted to have a conversation with me about something someone had said. And they show up and all 3 of these idiots have got their hands on their guns. My niece, I wasn't even in the park. I wasn't even at the campground. They seemed to think that I was, but I wasn't there. And they got really upset that I wasn't in the campground. So the RCMP, after trying to intimidate my family, who let them have it, verbally let them have it, they decided to put a warrant out for my arrest, which stayed on my file for 2 years. I didn't even know about it. Didn't even know. What the hell do they want? We still don't know what they wanted. Anyway, that warrant's gone, and whatever it was they were going to talk to me about, that's all gone too. But what a bunch of losers. Losers. You see a 9-year-old and the first reaction is to put your hand on your gun. And then he got mad because, the family members screaming at them to get lost is a woman who's 5'2", who's not impressed nor afraid of them. So what happens when cops realize someone's not afraid of them? What do? They get more belligerent. And to get even with me, I wasn't even there. I was in a different city. In fact, I was about an hour and a half away. in Calgary. This happened in a place called Rocky Mountain House. They put a warrant out for my arrest. They don't even know why. They just felt like doing it. That's what the RCMP does. So we have a really big problem with policing in North America. You know, how many videos are we seeing now of cops in Canada and the United States behaving themselves like prize fools? But thank God, at least in the United States, you can sue a cop and win.
Right.
In Canada,
It's got to be regional, Kevin. It's got to be regional because there's some small towns where, again, it's a completely different vibe when it comes to law enforcement. Lately, and I'm going to salute the RCMP in my town. They moved on a lot of drug dealers. They moved on a lot of problems that we had in our town. They dismantled the tent city. They got rid of, they're actually doing their job here. Mind you, the mayor's putting pressure on them. But let me tell you, they actually are doing their job here. And I'm very surprised. I'm impressed. I'm happy that my tax dollars are going to work. They've moved on a lot of riffraff out of this town. They cleaned this town up big time. And there's a day and night difference with people walking like drunk on the streets. No more public drunkenness, no more open booze, no more nothing. It's been nice, actually. Believe it or not, they're doing their job here. So it's got to be regional, Kevin. There's good and bad in every, well,
there's everything. Good and bad in everything. But we've also, remember we had former police officer on our show there, Donald Best, where we covered the fact that most police departments across Canada, they swear an oath to the Queen or the King now, whereas the RCMP swear an oath to obey orders.
Right.
And that's why 11 or 12 of them beat the living shit out of me on my front lawn in Mississauga back in 2017. Just hit my ass because Trudeau told them to. They weren't even in their jurisdiction. They didn't have any jurisdiction in the city of Mississauga. They didn't care. They showed up. They made a big deal of parking their cars all over the place. They took people's cameras that were filming it. So it's what they do. And a dozen RCMP, the best that they could do is break free of my ribs. And they weren't broken. They were cracked. Still hurts. But that was the best they could do. And they got mad when I was laughing. Have you ever broken 3 ribs at one time? The reaction.
Luckily, I've never broken a rib before. Touch wood.
Yeah, well, the reaction is all of a sudden your diaphragm can't move. So you're gulping. You're gulping for air, man. So the reaction is like I'm laughing, but it's kind of a laugh and kind of not a laugh. It friggin' hurts, man. But that's what they did on my own front lawn because I'm the one that told the story first about jihadi Justin Trudeau putting there that belonged to another male, not man, but male. Yeah, he was in a man-on-man orgy in the Aga Khan's
Okay,
Island.
let's go back to Trump. We're going way off topic here. All right, computer model shows just how close bullet was hitting Trump's skull last millisecond head tilt to save his life. It says video. And in this article, they're saying God intervened and protected President Trump. That's what they're saying there. Exclusive. Would-be Trump assassin Thomas Crook's family includes hardworking big sister who is real friendly as feds still searching for motive.
Right. And the family never detected the fact that their kid had a severe enough emotional problem to take out a rifle and shoot at the president. So something's
Eduardo
really
was
wrong.
trying to say something, but he's severely muted. I can't hear him.
Was a kid watching Marxist corporate media a lot? Stuff like garbage like CNN, ABC, CBC, and that kind of shit.
Well, here's the problem with this, Eduardo. They can make anything up now because he's not breathing.
Well, let's face it. I blame mainstream media first. Then I blame the owners of mainstream media, and those are the little hats in Israel. And we got a statement here from Kirk. He says, my kid who's 11 could have made that shot, albeit on a hot steel roof. But yeah, lots of questionable characters. Tell Kevin I have to pass. Sorry. Probably best thing that could happen to Trump. Well, he's still around, isn't he?
Well, he stood up in defiance. Like as soon as he stood up and pumped his fist and yelled out the word fight, of course, that's it. Like this photograph will live in infamy forever. Really, so long as the United States exists, this photograph is going to say it all. You know, the Secret Service guys, they look nervous. Trump doesn't. He doesn't seem to give a shit. Good for him. That's a real leader.
Did you notice the blood on the Secret Service guy's bottom jacket, right by the second button on the bottom?
Yeah. Okay. So he did his job. He got his body around Trump, whereas the fat chick there didn't do a damn thing. Oh, one more thing. Now, since we're talking about the fat chick, the fat woman that can't do this job, check this out. All right. Look how nervous she looks. She's trying to holster her weapon. Can't find it. Can't find it. She's holding on to it. Doesn't know what to do. Doesn't know what to do. Tries to put the gun away. Can't find the holster. Finally finds the holster. Looking around. Doesn't know what to do. She's so fat she can't close her jacket. Like, that's not somebody who should be doing that job. None now and not ever.
So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions coming up. And quite frankly, I want to know who was assigned to be on top of that steel roof. Which cop or which Secret Service guy, and the guy did not show up, or who?
Again, Eduardo, they were told to stand down, period.
By who?
That's where the crypto wallet comes into place.
You lost me.
Don't worry. Anyways, Kevin's friends here, please. Can we put up Kevin's friend? Impeach Mayorkas, still supporting Secret Service chief.
Okay, go on.
So basically, impeached immigration czar Alejandro Mayorkas still supporting his deputy Secret Service chief Kimberly Cheadle. I can't even remember. And then I just wanted to put that up there because just wanted to laugh out of you.
Well, it doesn't come as any particular surprise. All right, what's next, Mike? What do you got next?
Close Biden aides allegedly holding secret talks about how to convince him to step aside from another nominee. So they're trying to get Biden to step down. The gig is up. The jig, whatever you want to call it, it's up. They're calling a spade a spade. They're starting to realize their wet dream as Biden as a wartime president isn't going to happen. So they're going to have to put somebody else in there or something else in there that kind of makes some sense and could kind of appeal to the people a bit. And start moving forward, because again, these guys are running out of options, guys. They're running out of options. They're going to go to hot war, and it's like we said, it's going to be big because they're losing fast, very fast. And
Big Mike.
It's not no, they're going to have to reach deep into somebody that doesn't have some sort of a weird background, or someone that doesn't have any affiliation with a lot of these front runners. They need somebody that's actually, RFK would have been their best bet, but unfortunately now they obviously tainted everything, and it's all RFK would have been the best, and they could have won with RFK, or they could have tied, or there could have been a close race with RFK.
Well, did Michael Obama approve? Did Obama approve RFK or not? Because he runs a Democratic show. Let's face it.
Well, that's why he was going to run as an independent, right?
Who, Big Mike?
RFK.
Well, he still is running as an independent, is he not?
I'm saying this way he had to run as an independent. But if they left the guy alone and said, hey, guys, we need a fresh look here. We need something else going forward. This is no one's buying this anymore. Okay. My kids don't even buy this. So we need to, if they got a proper front runner, they could have won this, or not win it, but they could have had a chance.
Right. Well, who would they replace Biden with at this point? I'm thinking Hillary Clinton, that people don't like, and Michael Obama, the husband of Barack Obama. I mean, which one would it be?
Neither. I think they would go with Gavin Newsom because he's been following protocol since day one. Gavin Newsom is basically compliant with the whole Democratic thing and following the agenda and going through with it. And he showed that in California, how he basically implied and indoctrinated and basically just destroyed the state. And he would be a number one front runner for them right now would be Gavin Newsom, in my opinion. But they got to sell Newsom, right? So he's got this, this nickname, Gruesome Newsom. So they got to sell him. I mean, they're running out of options. There he is right there.
Okay, this guy here, he's tabled a bill in California that would have give him the right and the school boards the right to take your kids from you if you don't get them gender surgery, sex change surgery when they ask for it. So that's Gavin Newsom there. Yeah, that of course would be a good pick for the Democrats.
100%. That's 100% right there.
How is it that I got to talk to Jordan Peterson at some point. I'd like to know how it is that a human male my age can have that type of thought process inside their heads. Let's mutilate children and let's make a law to take kids away and hand them over to pedophiles until they get mutilated by somebody else. And then maybe when they're 18, let them see their parents again. How do males, how do males go down that road?
I have a reason to believe. I mean, I don't want to get spiritual on your show, but I just have a feeling this whole NPC theory, non-player contact theory that we've had since 2012 on this channel, that there's a lot of people that are just here to play the role or play the part or to create the damage or to be interference. And I have a feeling that I just can't wholeheartedly think in my mind that someone could pull something like that and go to sleep at night. You got to be soulless. You have to be absolutely soulless. No conscience, no nothing. Blank screen, flat line. You don't exist. You exist in the meat sack, but when you die, you die. There's no soul. There's no conscience keeping you up at night, and that's that. That's what I believe, that there's just people that are just here to run interference, Kevin.
You got to look into Satanism, Mike. Then it'll start to make sense.
Well,
these people
look, as for all the Satanism shit, though, Ed, you got to remember this: like Satanism and Wiccans and all that nonsense. These are people who have either mental illnesses or they have a disdain for normalcy, and they join up in these little cliques, these little groups to have something to do. I got invited. All right, look, as a younger man, of course, my smaller head did my thinking for me, and came across this super hot chick. She said she was a white witch. I had no idea what that meant. So she says, why don't you come to a congregation or whatever the hell she called it. And what it was, she was the best looking one in the entire room. There's a bunch of really weird fat slobs who all had long hair and tattoos all over the place. And they were just talking about nothing, smoking a lot of weed, talking about nothing. They get into these cliques like Satanism and witchcraft and all that to find other weirdos to be weird with. So when I met all these weirdos she was hanging around, you know, I hung around for a couple of more sessions in the sack and then I took off. So people who exist and they have these incredibly weird thoughts will always flock to those who have weirder thoughts than them and form these weird cliques and then call it Satanism. They'll put an image of Baal on the wall behind them or satanic images and whatnot. That's what they do. A lot of them don't believe this stuff. They're just looking for somewhere to fit in. Yeah. All right. Mike,
so
what's next?
When are you going to read the Talmud?
I'm busy. I'm busy. Won't be today.
Gotta get you on that program, Kevin.
Okay. Not today. I'm busy. When this is done, I have to write legal letters for 6 people to do with their income tax, to get rid of their income tax. By the way, I think we covered this last week. It turns out that all of the CRA agents in Canada who are taking your money out of your bank without a court order are indeed breaking the law because they have to have a court order. I found all that out, and now I'm talking to police officers to see who's going to jump first and file charges. All right. And Blue Daisy says Kevin was using his magic wand. I use it better these days than I did in my 20s. There you go. Had to learn a few things. All righty. Mike, what's your next article?
Oh, that's all I got for the whole Trump thing. I got a little thing here about Biden bullseye comment made on a donor call. Biden response. Huh?
Is that a video? Play it.
You won't hear my audio, though. I don't know why. My audio doesn't work on your live stream. But I just wanted to bring up the whole bullseye thing. You can't only, oops, it's going to open X. Can I bring up X for a second, Kev? You brought up Twitter or something. I've been permanently banned off Twitter like 2 months ago. And I'm just wondering, you said something happened with your Twitter too?
Oh, I just, on Twitter, I was able to broadcast this show live on Twitter, and we got really huge numbers on Twitter, and then all of a sudden just stopped. They're reviewing my account. I don't know. Is my show too good? Beats me. I don't know what that means. Reviewing my account, but it says under review.
Yeah. Well, they banned me once, and then they reviewed me. They brought me back, and then they permanently banned me the second time. Now I can never get back. And then I had a 10-year suspension on TikTok, and I appealed it 3 times, and I got my TikTok back.
Wow.
Yeah.
10-year suspension.
Yep. I have screenshots of it. I put it up on the community section. Everyone was laughing. They're like, you get less for murder now.
In Canada, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and, actually on Twitter, there was a professor or a doctor at the University of British Columbia. She was just barking out on Twitter about, like, he missed, damn it, he missed. Just so close, so close. The University of British Columbia got inundated with phone calls, and their email boxes were completely full of people from all over the world criticizing them for allowing that left-wing nut to say these things. What is it about Canadian lefties? Your Trump derangement syndrome is incredible. You understand that Trump is not the president of Canada, right? You get that?
Here it's crazy. Here where it's completely nuts. It's like Barack Hussein Obama was one of the best standing presidents America ever had. And the only reason why Biden's doing so terrible is because he's cleaning up Trump's mess of 4 years. And Donald Trump stole the election from Hillary Clinton. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this up. That's what people actually, you know what I'm saying? They're
products of Marxist media, Mike. Marxist corporate media.
So I'm looking up some other stuff here. If I could find some last minute anything that's breaking through. And,
actually, while you're talking about the insanity, you got to understand, putting fluoride in the water, it calcifies your pineal gland. You lose the ability to think properly.
Mm-hmm.
And good thing you left Calgary when you did, Kevin. Now there's going to be a whole bunch of dummies in Calgary because they're adding fluoride to the water. Thanks to
Calgary was full of idiots before I left. Do you have any idea how many people were screaming and yelling and barking at me because the media told them to? CBC goes out and says, "Don't vote for Kevin J. Johnston. He's racist." And I have all these losers. "Fuck you, Johnson. You're racist." I even had ambulance drivers. They would turn on the siren. They go, "Whoop, whoop," make that sound effect with it. "Hey, Johnston." Hey, I got double fingers. Oh yeah, I got 2 paramedics in the ambulance giving me fingers. I had Alberta Health Services staff giving me fingers. You people are ridiculous. You know that? Canadians are fucking ridiculous people. They will do whatever the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation says. So
CBC stands for Canadians Broadcasting Crap. Open my screen for Obama lovers out there. I love bringing this up. And this is the mainstream media, The Guardian, the mainstream media. And I brought this up on your show, Kevin, for the 6th time now. This is the 6th time this article is making an appearance. America dropped 26,171 bombs in 2016. What a bloody end to Obama's reign. And according to new figures, the U.S. dropped nearly 3 bombs every hour, 24 hours a day. Dare we think how Donald Trump will continue this legacy? Well, he stopped all the wars. He ended all the bloodshed.
Yes, he did.
And so bring this up to your friends, ladies and gentlemen. That's the mainstream media, The Guardian. This is not, some offshoot. This is The Guardian. And look what they're telling you here. And this article is more than 7 years old. Yeah, it is. I've screenshotted this. I've saved this article. So when people in the future want to erect statues of Obama, the greatest man that ever lived, this will basically follow him for the rest of his legacy.
Yeah, you know what, though, Mike, it doesn't matter what you show a Canadian who's already decided they don't like Trump. They just don't like Trump. That's it. I hate Trump. Why? Because he raped those women. Who? I don't know. That's what I heard. I heard it. I heard that. That's what it sounds like to me.
I think the first gentleman will be on.
Hey, whoa, Ed, you hear me talking? Don't talk over me. Randy says, what'd you say? Randy says, Kevin, I Googled and the government can freeze or remove money from your bank account without a court order. Not legally. I found out it's all illegal. So we're trying to press criminal charges now against every single member of the Canada Revenue Agency. It's only a matter of time before we get it going. Now, Ed, you can talk. Go
ahead. Mike, you think the first Mr. or what do they call Michael? He's not the first lady. He's the first gentleman. will also be in that statue?
Oh, I don't know, man. All I'm saying is that people are so misled that they can't find the way of themselves out of paper bag anymore. That's how badly misled. I'm not trying to say I don't know nothing. But what I could do is I could smell a lie from a mile away, or I could smell a bad deal from a mile away. And I just want to avoid it I just don't want to make contact, and I just don't want to be involved. But I could smell it from a mile away. And a lot of people, I just wish they had more of that. Not really knowing it all, but just trying to, this guy's trying to sell me a bag of goods that are no good. This guy's full of BS. This guy's, I'm just gonna turn this off and spend more time with my family. That's what people should have done. They should have reunited and instead of dividing at the household and dividing on the street block and dividing at work, people should have gotten together and talked to each other and figured this out like rational human beings.
Yeah, so they're handing out free COVID shots, but we got homeless sleeping on the streets, and they're saying these shots are going to save us.
Hold on a sec. Take 3 steps back from that. If they wanted to save lives, and this is something we brought up back in early 2020, if they really want to save lives, why don't they make what do you call that diabetics take insulin? Why don't they make that free? They could save millions of lives every day. And I brought up that story of a good friend of mine down in South Florida that died because he couldn't afford to buy his insulin, and he needed 3 more days to pay, and he ended up dying. And all he had to do was come and tell me. I would have given him the money. And I feel still kind of hurt about that.
Type 1 or type 2?
Hold on, guys. A couple quick things here. We're getting a comment from Whalen777 on TikTok. He says, "I hope Trump wins and invades Canada, sends Trudeau to Guantanamo." All right. Well, I agree. I would love to see that. If you all remember, I actually did make a plea when Trump was the president of the United States, saying, "Would you please come to Canada and remove the Liberal Party from Canada? Get them the hell out of here." And you remember that lawyer, Jonathan Lysis, that skinny little weasel, that wimp, he was crying when he was talking to the judge about me. He was talking about something unrelated. He says, "Oh, and by the way, Kevin J. Johnston was asking Donald Trump, the leader of a foreign nation, to come over here and remove our government." And that's a lawyer was saying this in court about me to a loser judge, Judge Myers. That guy's a freak. So I'm just saying here that Trump derangement syndrome is really deeply ingrained in modern Canadian culture. And it's mostly white people who think that Trump's the bad guy and Biden's the good guy. Those same white retards probably voted for Trudeau. And I say to everybody, I made that big announcement downtown Panama the other day. Actually, can you give me that video? Here, hey, you know what? I'm going to play this video for you. Let me do this right now because I haven't put it on to Rumble yet. Let me put this up. I was having a really good time with my new friends here in Panama City. Uh-oh. Did my new Instagram channel get taken down already? Oh, I hope not.
I can't find you on Instagram.
Oh, all right. My new one is official Kevin J. Johnston. There you go. That's my new one. I think I misspelled my own name. No, it won't load the site. Can you see it? Can everybody see my my account?
I can't even find your account. I've been looking for it since you started the show.
Official Kevin J. Johnston. Anybody see that? Do you see it?
I'm in TikTok.
I don't want you in TikTok. No, Instagram. You got it? Okay. Can you upload it?
For TikTok, yes.
I don't care. Just play it. I don't care where you get it. Just play it. Just play it.
It's in the chat.
I found it.
Yeah.
It came up. Finally came up.
Beautiful. All right. So this is me in the area of Panama where people tell me that it's dangerous for gringos to go. I beg to differ. I got a lot of really good friends in this this place that I hang out. So let me where is it now? Okay, hold on, guys. Sharing tabs on this StreamYard is such a pain in the ass, I'm telling you. Hold on there. There we go. This is what I did downtown Panama. Can you guys see that? Good. And I want every Canadian watching this show to listen to what I'm saying here. This is where Canadians need to be ashamed of themselves. Here we go.
Everybody, we're downtown Panama City. Have a look around. Look around. So turn the camera around. Have a look.
All right, this is the lower income region. We got a lot of really good friends down here. We party with these guys all the time.
To everybody in Canada. Hello, everybody in Canada. I'm downtown Panama City. Did you know that Justin Trudeau, in his first act as Prime Minister of the country, legalized bestiality? That is correct. The second thing that he did was made it legal to penetrate anally girls under the age of 14. That he's a disgusting pervert, and all you Canadians who voted for that guy are disgusting perverts yourselves.
There you are.
Stop voting Liberal, because otherwise you are the very same pedophiles that this country destroys. Boom.
All right, so yeah, I had a good time chatting with the Panamanians. Yeah, you know, they drive around in Panama with little microphones and big speakers on their trucks. Like, it's all in Spanish. Yeah, banana, $1. You know, piña, $1. They do that. So every opportunity I get to speak into a loudspeaker, talking about how disgusting Trudeau is, I'm going to do. Mike, what do you got there?
Nothing. I was going to plug myself before you guys kick me off.
That's not for another 8 minutes, but go ahead.
Well, there's nothing. All I wanted to say, if people want to follow me, I got my YouTube reinstated. And then I'm also on Instagram. I haven't been taken off there yet. And Facebook 1 and Mike Martins, and Facebook 2, Mike in the Night. And then I'm on TikTok. I'm surprisingly growing pretty fast on there for some unknown reason. And then you could find Mike in the Night. RealMikeMartins.com takes you to our playlist of Mike in the Night, where you can find Kevin J. Johnston on many episodes, and Eduardo. And I think it's RealMikeMartins.com takes you to our Rumble page, which hopefully in the fall will jumpstart Mike in the Night.
All right, and we hope so. So everybody follow Mike in the Night. Go to Rumble, Mike in the Night. Mike in the Night. Hell of a show, Mike. I'm always glad to be on that show. I just got to show this quickly here. Let me zoom in on this. Secret Service Director Kim Cheadle, good friend of Jill Biden, of course, and the new face of America's competency crisis. Look at that ugly, nasty, vile individual. Didn't post snipers on the roof where Trump was shot at because it was a sloped roof and she was afraid someone might slip and fall. Do you remember, ladies, how we said at the beginning of the show, you're just not cut out for leadership positions? Only a woman would say something so stupid. You know, if I was in charge of the Secret Service or anybody else, and I've got trained snipers, I'm going to order them on any roof, even if it's an A-frame roof. You know, the roofs like that? Guys, top of the roof, go. Yeah, but it's sharp for my ass. I don't give a shit. Go. Get it done. Get up there. Find some way to hook yourself up. Men will order men to do things.
This roof was so low sloped, unbelievable. And even if she wanted, don't they have a person in charge of safety at this place? All they got to do is throw a rope on the other side, tie it off to a car or a truck or something. There's no way the guy could fall off if he ties himself off with proper equipment. Like, you know what, Kevin? I was kind of questioning all the stuff about the women you were saying, but this one drives it home. Put it up again.
Oh, you want to see her again? Let's do it.
Yeah, read this comment again, and then bring up a picture of how low slope the building was. My lawn has got more of a slope than those roofs, and I haven't fallen off my lawn. Unbelievable.
Yeah. All right. Well, like I said, we love you, ladies. You all know that. What have I been accused of being? Wait, was it womanizer? I think that was the term. All right. Whatever it is. Who cares? The point of it is, I treat women well. I love you, ladies, but you can't do this for a career. You're no good at it. Just come on, enough.
So she's a good friend of Jill Biden.
Yes, that should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
The new face of America's competency crisis. So Kyle Becker is calling her incompetent? or the whole country, or all this what do they call it, equality crap, this shit, this communist shit? Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. Excellent comment.
Well, there we go. So I'm just going to ask kindly to all the ladies out there, stop being police officers. You can't do it. We as men, like to the men now, I got to be a bit more realistic with all of you as well. Who cares about equity and inclusivity and diversity and all that stupid shit? Who cares? We all know that women can't do these jobs. We're talking about being bodyguards. We're talking about being cops. We're talking about being snipers. We're talking about being leaders over top of men. As men, all of us now, we need to stop doing what women say. We're going to get killed. Women will react with emotion because that is what they are designed to do. Whether you believe in creationism or evolution, that is what they do. It's emotion. I don't give a rat's ass about any woman's feelings unless she's kindly enough to sleep with me. I don't give a rat's ass what she feels. And I'm not going to do anything a woman says because the odds of it being based on emotion are incredibly high. Period. As men, you got to stop hiring women for managerial positions and stop hiring women for these leadership roles. Stop voting for them. And police forces, come on, guys, kick them out. Kick them out. You know what you guys got to do? Most times women can't handle guys when they crack dirty jokes. Just crack dirty jokes all freaking day. They'll eventually get fed up and leave. We don't need the headaches. Let's put our society back where it belongs. Gentlemen, any comments on that?
It's just, you know what? It just goes back to, very simply, Kevin, bring back the sanity. Just bring the sanity back and everything else falls in place. That's it. There's nothing else. Follow the 10 commandments. Heck, you want it, follow the 10 commandments. Don't steal, don't kill, don't just follow that. Follow that and bring back the sanity. Amen.
Look, communism, which is part of the Little Hats plans for the whole world and enslaving the entire world, what you're saying, Mike, goes against that because the state must be the religion everyone follows. And that's why that bonehead that said somebody might get hurt, that's why we didn't put anyone on the roof. Really? How stupid can you be? What a lame excuse. Unbelievable. This is, was it diversity, equity, and inclusion? She was probably a diversity hire. And just like dumbass Trudeau, 2016, because that's why we have to have 40% of the women politicians, because it's 2016. How about someone that's really got something between the ears, not just whistling Dixie?
Yeah, well, I'm taking it I'm not going to say I'm taking it to the extreme. I'm just taking it to its maximum limit. And the limit for me is I will not do what women say. I'm not taking orders from women. I'm not taking orders from weak men either, just for the record. If you cannot kill me with your bare hands, then you're not barking orders at me that I'm going to follow. I'm not in Canada anymore. So the rules here, it's amazing how different the rules in Latin America really are. If I was to be spoken to by anybody here, the way that those idiots spoke to me in Canada, all those left-wing nuts, do you have any idea what kind of a boom I would be lowering on your skull? I hate bad manners. I really hate bad manners, guys. I cannot stand the idea that we now have a society, at least in North America, where there's no punishment for bad behavior, period. So to all you Antifa kids out there who all thought that you were tough and whatnot, and you wanted to attack me and so on and lip off, could you please come down here? Could you please come to Panama and lip off to me here? Try it. You know what? Like, I'll make an offer to any of those Antifa punks. All you Antifa punks that came at me in some way, come here. I'll pay for your plane ticket. I'll pay for your hotel. And when I put you in a wheelchair, I'll buy you the wheelchair. That's how it's going to be from here on in. I'm not putting up with bad manners anymore, and I'm not doing a damn thing women say. Yeah, unless, again, they're in a serious relationship with me, but they have nothing but the utmost respect, in which case I will do some of what they say, but nothing that would be potentially dangerous at all. I'm sorry, ladies. You're just not cut out for it, but we still love you. We do. Ed and I, Mike here, we will open doors for you. We will help you carry groceries. We will stand up on the bus or the subway and hand you over our seats. I just did it yesterday in Panama. Stood up, lady gets the seat. That is what we gentlemen will do. But at the same token, we are not going to follow your orders. We are men. You are women. Biology dictates that we are in charge and you are the followers, the ones who are supposed to back us up. That's what it's supposed to be. And that is when we were the most prosperous, when both sexes, not genders, when both sexes knew their place and knew their role. We need them back. Mike, we got to go. What's your last statement for the night?
Just be good to each other. Love one another. Reunite. Get back. Get it back. Get your family back. Get your coworkers back. Get your friends that you estranged and cut off back from this political divide or climate change divide or whatever divide you went through. Get them all back. Love them. I have spoken.
Mike has spoken. Mike Martins, everybody, from Mike in the Night. Please watch his show. You'll catch him on Rumble. Great to see you again there, Mike. Appreciate you being here. Oh, man, what a night tonight. And I know that my email box is going to fill up over the next couple of days while people watch the replay on this. We've got someone here saying, then what roles do you suggest a woman should be within the work field? Only what they're qualified for. That's it. What they're qualified for. All right. For example, guys, also, I should be working only where I'm qualified. I would be a rotten neurosurgeon. Do you really want me with zero neurosurgery training and zero experience in sawing open a human skull? Do you want me working on your brain? No, you don't. You just don't. But would you trust me or a 5'2" woman to be your bodyguard? Really, if you were given the choice. And let's be honest here. There we go. And yes, ladies, if I build the house, you help as much as you can, and you clean it and you cook, and I'll cut the grass and I'll wash the driveway and I'll fix the roof when it leaks. Yeah, it's supposed to be a team effort. Like Mike said, love each other. Let's appreciate who and what we all are. Let's live according to our gifts and according to our biology, and let's stop the lies. Donald J. Trump is now going to be the next president of the United States. Yeah. And as for all you lefty fools in Canada who are not happy about that, I am. And I really do pray that Trump decides to annex Canada and alleviate Canada of people like Justin Trudeau and liberals and lefties and the whole 9 yards. Of course, that's just me dreaming and praying. I certainly hope he does do so. The president is fine. When he pumped his fist, he showed the world that he's not afraid of a damn thing. And that's exactly what a real leader is. That's what a real man looks like. So let's support the one last real man out there. Now, aside from me, I'm just not as rich as him. Thank you. I love you all. My name is Kevin J. Johnston. This is the Kevin J. Johnston Show that runs every single Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We are offensive, but only because we tell the truth, and that's never going to change. You'll catch us on freedomreport.ca. Follow, share. Like Mike said, love each other, love yourselves. Good night, everybody.